So I saw one of the most amazing things I've seen last week. Since I showed up at a Dean meetup eons ago to give a little glimpse into the future. I think I've seen the future, and this is it. The Huffington Post used a brand new tool that Meetup launched last week to do something very interesting. They decided they were going to tell their audience to meet up. And this new tool that we have that I'll show you in a few minutes makes it radically simple, makes it insanely easy to launch meetups everywhere about something. So, with one little link saying nationwide meetups planned, this journalism, this news, sparked, in the past few days, 231 local meetups planned. Local gatherings, of course in places like New York and Los Angeles and Tampa, because they care about it in Florida, and Atlanta and San Francisco and Seattle. But what's so amazing about it is that places like Mishawaka, Indiana, have 3 people that are going to gather. And let me just say, 3 people gathering, just having coffee together at that cafe, they may not do a damn thing of making a difference with the oil spill, but the fact that they have an outlet, the fact that there's a possibility that they will be able to share their story at this thing, and that it was sparked by a post, is so fascinating. From Iowa City to Vero Beach to Mobile, Alabama, it's happening all with one post. We at Meetup have been saying over and over and over that when you look at organizations' Facebook walls, this might look like one of your organization's Facebook walls, you always see people saying something like this. Aaron McGann in Chicago saying, I am in Chicago and trying to find other IC supporters to get involved with. Anybody from Chicago? There's no answer for Aaron. There's no answer for Erin. She is interested. She's ready. She's ready to be engaged. And Aarons are everywhere. Aarons are everywhere for that organization, which is called Invisible Children, trying to address child soldiers in Uganda. But for every organization, these Aarons are everywhere, and there's no real outlet for them. They can click on something, they can do something, but Aaron represents the future and past of movements. And that is that movements are not a campaign or a trend or media or awareness or even action. A movement is when people self-identify. They call themselves an environmentalist. They call themselves a union member, a feminist, a evangelical. And so unless people engage at a level where they can share their story, Erin's story, for her, imagine if Aaron was able to show up at that cafe on a Saturday because she's not doing anything else and tell her story of me. I'm stealing from Marshall Gans here, sort of a movement, one of the great leaders of movements theory. He says, people have to share their story of me, and then it turns into a story of we. Why is Aaron there? Why did Aaron write that post? Why does she care about this? There's something in it that will connect with other people, and when all those stories get shared, a story of we emerges, and the identity and the movement happens. The problem is that it's easier than ever now to get pseudo-members and harder than ever to get real members of a movement. You see more and more now the standard set of what you can do if you are an organization or trying to create some sort of movement, even a brand or whatever. You're saying, watch us, see us, download us, join us, friend us, contact us, follow us. Enough about us. It's a false sense of membership. It's an illusion of engagement. I mean, it's good to communicate to them, and it's good for them to communicate to you, but what about connecting them to each other? You've got followers. Now what? Fans and followers are not a movement. What good are followers if they're not mobilized? You need to get them to self-organize, give them permission to be incredible, because you want accidents and serendipity, don't tell your lawyers, luck, randomness, fate, and coincidences to happen, because then leaders emerge. And when leaders emerge, that's when the shit really happens. Here's what happens when people meet up. Here's what happens when people meet up. We see a word emerge. And that emerge so often is this word let's. They meet up, they get together, and they say, let's build an open source car at this meetup in London. Let's develop something cool together at the London Java meetup. Let's help each other out at this business startup, this business, support new chamber of commerce that's emerging. By the way, business meetups, small business meetups are happening by the thousands every week. Let's clean up the beach in Massachusetts. Let's talk MS in Pennsylvania. Let's jump out of a perfectly good airplane together. at the skydiving meetup in Tampa. Let's hike and maybe take a break if we get tired in Mountain View, because in Silicon Valley they get tired. So when it turns to politics and advocacy, and what you'll see are words like this. Let's not just pass on the latest news article or video. Let's discuss action items and strategy. If you're just enabling people to pass content and pass media and visualize this and transparency and open that, they need to connect. This is what happens when people self-organize. Let's hear it for Let's, okay? Let's hear it for Let's. Let's is awesome. Let's is the heart of things moving forward in the world. That Let's is what might happen when you connect with other people here, not with Newt Gingrich on the Skype, but when you talk to other people here today at the lunch, which you're hungry for in a minute. Would Erin say Let's if she found the others? If that post had an answer on Facebook, and I think it probably would. Erin did not say, I'd like to do micro-action tasks and be a human cog. Erin did not say, I'd like to continue sitting on my ass soaking up the rays of this damn screen, or I'd like to be a part of a faceless crowdsourcing crowd, or I'd like to consume more media or make more media, or I'd like to be told exactly what to do. The idea here is you want to be everywhere, but you can't be everywhere, so you need to crowdsource your everywhereness. This is bigger and more important than the iPad. Because people are more magical than the iPad, and because everyone's organized but the people. Everyone's organized but the people, and the most exciting thing in the future is not TV on your phone. It's billions of people using their phones to be powerful together in ways we can't imagine. So what I've learned from 6 million meetups and the 60 million RSVPs that have happened so far is that amazing stuff does happen, from the babysitting collectives and the resource sharing and all that stuff that goes down when amazing things happen after they meet up, and then they develop capacity, they develop organization. Clay Shirky is wrong that organizing without organizations is not the way of the future. It's organizing new kinds of organizations. What I learned in the past week was that you put these little fresh tools out there, there's enormously more unleashed potential for what happens when people meet up than we've barely seen yet. The next wave in social media isn't media. It's you've got this now power to be a publisher and a broadcaster, but don't stop there. Just give that people that little spark that they can meet up with each other. De Tocqueville says, in democratic countries, the knowledge of how to combine is the mother of all forms of knowledge. I respond. In the 21st century, the technology for how to combine is the mother of all awesomeness. You need to use the internet to get off the internet, because 20th century depersonalization and super-industrialization and over-anonymization is getting wiped out by the fact that now people are turning to each other. That's what we're doing on Facebook. That's what we're doing on Twitter. And everything's being reinvented. So let me just end here. The great movement of the early 21st century has not happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. Get people to turn to each other. If people aren't meeting up, it's not a movement. Thanks.